Have you ever had the best intentions of following something through to the end, only to get distracted by a shiny object or a side quest, and then realise how much time you've wasted on that tangent? Now, I thought this only happened to beginners getting started with an online venture because of all the possible options to get into, but this recently happened to me and my $500,000 a year online business and almost ruined everything. And yes, that's exactly why I haven't posted on this channel for almost a year now. So here's exactly what happened and how you can avoid the shiny object syndrome. Now, it all started when the pandemic hit and all of the so-called experts and gurus were shouting from the rooftops and saying you need to pivot your business right now, otherwise everything's going to collapse, you're going to have nothing left. It was like that scene from Friends where Ross is carrying the sofa up the stairs and at the corner he's like pivot, 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 right? I'm sure you know the one. Now, at first, as you can probably remember, nobody knew what was happening. Nobody knew what was going on right now and nobody knew what was going to happen in the future. Some people were pivoting their businesses completely, some people were not pivoting, and I was one of the people who did not pivot initially. I was thinking, let's wait and see what happens, right? Over time, I started to get a little bit bored and in my own head about doing the same thing over and over again for the last 12 years. I thought, what if I'm missing something? What if there's a better way of doing what I'm currently doing, or like a new market I could get into and make more money, help more people, have a bigger impact on the world and stuff like that. Plus, in all honesty, I'd started to get a little bit disillusioned with the make money online industry, with everyone saying you too can make money online, even though they never actually made any money online. They were just, pushing the next affiliate program or something like that. We had a ton of customers complaining that they weren't getting results, and I asked them, have you done the work? Please show me that you have, and they hadn't. They'd never even gone through the program, and they were complaining they hadn't gotten results, and I was like, I just want to get away from this, right? So this led me to losing sight of what actually mattered, of actually helping these people rather than becoming frustrated with them, and that's when everything changed. So at this point, I took inventory of everything I'd done over the last 12 years, plus all of the people I'd worked with, plus all of our students who had gotten the best and most life-changing results, and thought, what do these people have in common? And I realized it was people who were already established, coaches, consultants, authors, people who already had something online. So those are the people I focused on, completely leaving out the segment of our audience who had gotten us this far in our business, which were the beginners. So I started doing what most coaches do and sending cold DMs and doing webinars and stuff like that, how you can get more clients. And that was the whole thing, like how to get more clients. But I soon realized that industry is super saturated because everyone is doing the same thing with very similar messaging. You've probably seen it yourself, like get 10 booked calls per day or you don't pay, or like how you can get 10 new coaching clients a day or something like that, right? So we were doing a very similar thing. And we soon realized just how saturated that niche is because everyone and their dog is saying how you can get more coaching clients, even though the majority of them are struggling to hit their first 100K. And this just didn't sit right with me, I was helping all these established coaches, consultants, and even though I was getting them great results, it wasn't what I wanted to be doing. I didn't feel authentic or natural or like I was following my purpose in life, which was to be helping beginners get started. I just felt a bit off with the whole thing, which led to a whole bunch of other issues as well. Specifically, at this point in my life, I started to feel very lost. I didn't really know what I was doing, my ads weren't performing that well because I was in a niche I didn't really understand, I didn't feel like I was enjoying my life because I was doing stuff I didn't want to do, and that led to anxiety, a lot of anxiety around like, this isn't working or this isn't working or whatever, I'm a failure, whatever else, and depression as well. I even got diagnosed with ADHD from childhood. Apparently I've had this my entire life, but I didn't even know, and also PTSD from childhood trauma as well, which we won't get into in this video, but it was just a bad time in my life. So even though all of my and my business's bills were being paid at this point, I was making significantly less money and I was no longer enjoying it. So to put this into context here, our best month ever was $112,000 before all this stuff happened, right? In 1 month, 112K. During this stuff, we were making about 20K a month. So that's a massive drop in terms of a percentage, and keeping in mind we had our team to pay as well. So honestly, I was miserable. I was thinking, what am I doing wrong? I'm a failure. What if all of my success before now was luck? What if it was a fluke? What if I'm not as good as I think I am? And I got into my head with all this stuff, which as I mentioned, led to a bunch of depression, anxiety, a bunch of other stuff as well. That's when I got a therapist and I've had one ever since, and things started to turn around in a drastic, incredible way. After tackling all that stuff, I realized I didn't want to go back back to the whole make money online thing where people didn't want to do the work, they just wanted to make some money overnight. But equally, I didn't want to help the people who were super established and they were going from 10k a month to 100k a month, for example, because I felt like the transformation wasn't as big for the world, right? I want to make a big difference and leave a big legacy behind, and that was, to me, not the way to do it. And at this point, we did a whole bunch of experimentation. We were just throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall and hoping it would stick. Like, we help coaches, consultants, authors, speakers, whatever, to create their own online course or digital product or service or coaching program and get to your first 10k or your first 100k or your first million. It was like this huge weird mix of everything, and it was super vague, and it was really difficult to have our messaging resonate with anybody because we were trying to appeal to everybody. And that continued for a while until I had the epiphany that I could help people who were just getting started while making a difference in the world without it sounding scammy. So when I took the time to really think about this with a clear head, I was thinking, since 2008, what have I enjoyed doing the most? What has made me the most money? And what has made me feel the most fulfilled? And I realized it was helping people to create digital products and online courses, basically putting their advice into an online package of some description and selling it passively with an automated sales process. So that's what we focused on from then up until now, and things have been going great. Since then, I feel like I've returned to doing what I really enjoy, what I'm super passionate about, while matching my purpose in life, while helping people around the world to change their life for the better, while getting paid incredibly well to do it. So it's a win on all fronts. So that's my story. Now let's talk about yours. Obviously, I've learned a ton of lessons through this whole experience, which I want to share with you right now, in the hopes it can help you overcome your shiny object syndrome, moving from one thing to the next if that's something you struggle with. First, I learned that shiny object syndrome stems from uncertainty. So when I was at my lowest, I was low because I didn't know what to do. I had all this uncertainty and I felt like I was trying this, I was trying this, I was trying this, nothing is working, maybe I'm missing something. And that uncertainty led me to trying stuff which I didn't really want to do, I didn't enjoy, but I felt like I had to get the result. Your life doesn't have to be this way. You can do stuff you enjoy while making money from it, while making a difference in the world. And the whole reason behind this is if you were certain with what you wanted to do with your online venture, you wouldn't question the path you're on. Right? You wouldn't be thinking about all these possible alternatives because you'd be enjoying what you're doing, you're making enough money, you're seeing great progress, you wouldn't even question it. So one way that really helped me to get back on that path I should have been on was to gain the certainty. Now you might think, James, how do you gain the certainty if you're unsure? Well, for me personally, I found my certainty through trying a bunch of different things to figure out what I enjoyed, what I didn't enjoy, what was working well for me, what was profitable, what was not profitable, and having that awareness about where I currently was and what I was looking for, because if you don't know where you're going, it's tough to get there. Then once you know where you're going, it's so much easier for you to get there, right? So for me personally, I realized I had a huge gap in my knowledge and my skills in a few different areas, and this applied to me at the very beginning of starting my online journey back in 2008, and also after I went through this small transition to a slightly different market with slightly different messaging, right? So whenever you do something new, you will always have this huge gap in your knowledge and your skills. But how do you fill that gap? Well, you can do this in a few ways. So this could include subscribing to people on YouTube that you may have watched their videos and you enjoy their content and have plenty more content coming your way. Wink, wink. And of course, you can join online courses, you can join masterminds, you can hang out with people who are doing better than you, whatever it may be. Focus on filling that gap in your knowledge and your skills to become the type of person required to see the kind of life that you want. Second, you need to know and believe there are multiple ways for you to achieve the same end goal, right? So just because one person has seen incredible success with a certain method, it doesn't mean every other method is fake or BS or a scam. It just means that there are multiple options for you to get there. And similarly, if you've tried a bunch of different things and it hasn't worked out well for you, it didn't mean that that method didn't work for you if it's worked for everyone else. It just means you didn't follow that process for long enough for you to see results, right? You may have stopped just before you started seeing results or given up too soon, whatever it may be. So it's not like one method works and the rest of them don't. All of them are correct, okay? You just need to find one that works best for you. Third, just because you're getting distracted by all these shiny objects and trying all these different things, it does not make you a failure. It is just a required part of your learning process to figure out what you enjoy, what resonates well with you, so you can find something that works incredibly well for you, that gets you motivated and excited to pursue it, so you can pursue that in the long term, so you can follow that process through to the end. So try not to think of it like you're procrastinating or that you failed every time something doesn't work out for you, because that can feel a bit demoralizing and demotivating and make you want to quit altogether. Instead, see it as a lesson towards your end goal. And speaking of the learning process, I will be posting a lot of valuable content on this channel over the next few weeks. So if you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and of course comment below if you've had similar experiences. And finally, check out some of these other videos as well.